All right. Let's go to episode 9. So we don't have a TV.
Is it episode 9 already?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 9. Episode 9.
How about we just leave?
No, get in here.
No, okay.
Get in here.
We start the episode with
Listen, this is the intro.
down in the chair.
This is the intro.
This
is the intro. Yes, it is. This is the intro.
This is I don't want it. I don't like it.
Welcome everybody to Big Businesses, the fantasy football podcast for pros, not Joes. This is episode 9. I'm Tom Iceman, Joe, the commish, Joto World. Cheers, brother.
Slash
Podcast
Master.
Podcast.
I don't know if you guys read that or not. I feel smarter just wearing it. So, cheers, brother. We're fucking doing it again. Episode 9.
So 9. They say when you're 9 episodes in, you are a podcast master.
Yeah, you get your.
Some say 20.
masterhood.
Some say 9.
No, 9. It was 9. And also, when you hit 100 followers on TikTok, officially, first 100, right?
Yeah.
So
that's
we'll be at 1 million in no time.
Anybody like 20 years less than us is on TikTok is laughing their ass up, but they're also not watching this. Who gives a
They try so
shit?
hard. We don't
care.
We just spit hot fire.
So let's get into dial on. You better fucking know.
Yeah, if you don't know, now you know.
So welcome to episode. Let's get into the sponsor because you're taking care of the sponsor today.
I got the sponsor this week. We got a good one. So
roll with it.
So Puka's Gold Level Gym. Are you tired of owning guys like Pacheco and Olave? Wish your fantasy team was more than just a collection of questionable game time decisions? Yeah. Well, it's time to get serious. At Puka's Gold Level Gym, the only gym where people build muscle. Don't build muscle. We rebuild fantasy lineups.
You fucked it up.
I fucked it up. I fucked up the whole sponsor. At Puka's, we're all about fantasy rehab. Forget squats, bench presses, and all that other stuff. We'll have you flexing those fantasy skills in no time. Our experts are here to guide you through sit-start therapy, trade negotiation training, and our famous waiver wire boot camp. Whether you're struggling with why did I draft that guy syndrome or stop streaming 3 defenses like it's your full-time job, we've got the cure. Led by Puka himself, we help you make the right moves, leave those early season mistakes in the dust. Because here's the truth. Champions aren't made in the gym. They're found on the waiver wire.
On the waiver
Puka's
wire. Gold
Level Gym, where fantasy comes to recover.
Oh, that's a hell of a sponsor.
That was pretty good. Other than like me fucking up that one part.
Well,
it's a good picture though. I love the logo. Yeah. I love the.
Well, you're ESL, right? English second language.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Football's your first language.
Hooked on Phonics worked for me, right?
Football's your first language.
Yeah, I'm all about that football. Fluent.
So thank you to Puka's Gold Level Gym for our this week's sponsor. Now, we're going to do a quick league recap. We're going to go over some of the matchups, and then we're going to do a little game tape about this week here. So let's go. So everybody's league is different. We know that. But
ours
how
really
we run ours, because we have a paid league. That's not a lot of money by any means. But let's do a league recap. You want to go over what goes to who?
So now there's been some...
Can you read this?
I can.
Okay, you can.
There's been some money. Hooked on Phonics worked for me, but I think I'm okay now. So the prizes are broken down. There's more for first place now that we just closed AubreyGate. AubreyGate is now closed, so $110 extra are going to first place. So the breakdown.
Okay, no. Sorry, interjecting. That was said to be split between Constellation and top.
I just put it all on first place.
Okay, well, let's split that because we already made it.
Erroneous.
Okay.
Erroneous.
You heard from the commission himself. Okay.
Yeah, that's like more of like a dictatorship than a commissionership. I'm just like, no, we're not doing that.
Welcome to sunny North Korea.
Yeah. Well, the weather is beautiful. Why not? First place gets $1,110. Yeah. Thank you, Snorlax. Second place, $500. Third place, $200. There's a $50 weekly payout to the team that scores the most points every week.
I do like this because it gives everybody an opportunity to get a little bit of cash.
If you're a guy like Draft Wizards and you're at the bottom of our league, it still gives you some incentive to play fantasy football.
Victoria's Secret, right? Yeah, you know.
Right.
What else we got?
We've got a $75 live bounty on Snorlax. So anybody who takes out the one they call Snorlax
in football, not in life.
Yeah, football. Well, I kind of like him in real life.
Well,
so
he's kind of like one of our good friends.
Don't kill my friend. Okay, so yeah, that's good.
Demonetized.
So $75 for the person who takes him out. So assuming he makes the playoffs, the person who eliminates him from the playoffs gets an extra $75 out of the commission's pocket.
That's directly out of the pocket, not out of the pot.
And we have sprinkled in $10 for Puka McGowan. So whoever takes Puka McGowan out.
Who owns the gym we were sponsoring today.
Yeah.
So,
did you see that body? You know what was kind of weird though too? It's like I wanted to find a picture for the logo for our friend there.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, it might be hard to find a shirtless picture of Puka, right?
No, you are hard finding a shirtless picture.
Do you know how easy it was to find 10 pictures of him? Right?
You just,
and then they were all saved on my camera roll. Like if anybody would have went through my phone, they would have been like, why do you have just like shirtless man flexing and all these gym selfies where he's like, you know Hulk
what?
Hogan poses.
If he put as much work into his fantasy team as he did his actual body,
That's
he'd
what
be
I'm saying.
good. He'd be really
He'd be real good. Yeah, if he could sculpt.
But like,
Sculpt.
you're looking
his
at two real men.
This is a natural body.
This is how the man is supposed to look.
A natural master
Get
body.
used to
right
it,
here.
ladies. This is it right here.
When they see this, it's not the only thing they want to master, right? You know what I'm saying?
It's true. They want to also be debate stars.
Yeah. So $10 for Puka, right?
Yeah,
and the last side bet that we have going is Goff versus Hurts.
This
So
is the most important. It's nothing financial about
this. This is just these two guys fighting weekly
now
over this debate.
Okay, I will also say I have made this bet financially for a few people for like very, very small amounts because I genuinely believe that in standard format, fantasy purposes, Jared Goff over the length of the season is going to have length of the fantasy season is going to have more points than Jalen Hurts. And I say this. It's my bets are already placed, so I can say why. Tush push is less. Now he's still gonna get some running touchdowns. He's gonna have a sneak here and there. He also has a running game that's named Saquon Barkley, so a lot of his rushes can be taken out. They want to protect the quarterback.
There's no question that you're right on that.
And he is a highly overrated passer. I said it right here.
And
Highly
in fantasy, though, he just gets it done, though. It doesn't look pretty.
We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So I got Hurts. He's got Goff. It's way closer right now than I even thought it would be. So kudos to you for that.
I'm telling you.
But yeah, I think it's only like a 2-point margin or something like that right now. They're right next to each other. So this will be interesting to see how it shakes out.
Yeah.
If Hurts wins this bet for me, I get the grit hat.
And if he gets the grit hat, I might be very upset.
Yeah. And if I lose and Goff gets more points,
I get his little.
He gets a little Funko.
Stupid Funko doll.
He still doesn't know what it is.
I have no idea what a Funko doll is.
No. It's a beautiful guy right there.
Yeah, I know what it looks like. What is this? Is it like this Beanie Babies for adults?
That's a fair comparison. Yes.
What is a Funko?
Everybody loves them though. I saw one of like Al Pacino and I almost bought it. And I'm like, if I buy this and I have two, then that two is gonna turn into like 2,000.
Who loves them? Who's everybody?
They're fucking cool, man.
Who's everybody?
Everybody's Ryan Skane. He's the only person I know who collects them.
He collects them.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think he has.
I like him a lot as a friend, so I won't say anything more. But
yeah, and I wouldn't say that he has like a hidden like storage unit or something that he's hiding from his wife and has like 4,000 of them in there or something like that. So that's not true. But yeah, but if it was like. Right?
I would hope that's the only thing he has in that storage locker.
Oh my god, if I had a storage... Anyways, yeah, that's a whole nother podcast. If
I don't want to talk about your storage locker full of Funkos.
Yeah. They're real fun. Okay. Okay, what's next? So, some recap, right, from the matchups. If you want to highlight some of the stuff that happened. Ooh, good ice to chew. There's a big ice ball in here.
There's a big old ball. So, some of the league matchups this week were pretty good, but a few things we need to really discuss. Willie, also known as Hawktua, also known as copyright infringement, and he also changed names 4 other fucking times.
Yeah, another conversation or something.
You gotta stop changing your name. It's
confusing.
the dumbest thing in the world.
I'm confused. How is our listeners gonna not be confused?
But he's won the top points, so $50 3 times in a row now.
Never happened in the history of our league. So kudos to you, my friend.
I'll give you love for that.
We also thought your team was shit like a month ago, and then you got the top score 3 weeks in a row. And, so you must be doing something right.
But they also say this is the dumbest year for fantasy football because everybody good is.
They're like, this is where like idiots can shine.
Yeah,
right?
this is where the worst
I'm in
people
third
in the league
place,
look
by
well.
the way. Yeah.
So I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
Stop changing your damn name.
Yeah. Don't do it again.
Okay, I'm not actually upset. I'm just joking.
I don't really care.
Silent Ninja.
Yeah.
Starting to make some quiet noise.
Yeah. Get it? Like, because he's silent, but he's making noise. Yeah.
Doing a good job.
Yep.
Doing a good job.
Yeah, I think he's won the last couple of weeks in a row. Obviously, it's Mixon's back, so his boy Joe Mixon is doing things for him and his squad.
We have to do this once again. We said it already once, and I'm gonna say it again. I was wrong about Joe Mixon. I was totally wrong about Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
He was totally right about it. Whether or not he knew he was right about it is another conversation. I'm gonna go ahead and say he had no idea who Joe Mixon was. That's only because I have a microphone. He doesn't, and he can't reply. But excellent job. He is doing a great job. Joe Mixon's doing a great job.
Yeah, he's
and
starting to make it interesting.
I was completely wrong on that one.
Our boy Draft Wizards, the illustrious second win of the season. So good job.
Win.
I was gonna do a health check. Like I was gonna call him for like.
I was worried.
You know? Yeah.
The problem is I'm playing him this week.
Yeah. So two wins is more than enough. With that said,
more than enough.
Now that he's got a second one, you don't want him building any momentum and gaining confidence.
If he gets a third win,
he's been fairly quiet in our thread too. So I really think fantasy kicked him in the teeth and kind of just like he wins 2 in a row. All of a sudden the messages are gonna start
emasculating
again, and
right?
it is emasculating. I don't know how I would feel.
You think of yourself as like
I've never been in that position where I only had 2 wins after 7 weeks of football, right? So I wouldn't know.
I will tell you it sucks.
Okay. Very honest.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest.
What else?
I don't have the best.
Oh, this next one's a good one too.
Oh, this next one is a beauty. Okay, so Snorlax,
our resident villain in our league, Snorlax,
and credit where credit's due. There is nobody first in the waiver wire looking at people. There's nobody last in the waiver wire looking at people. This guy has more waiver wire pickups and drops than fucking insert, analogy, euphemism, whatever you want here. This guy is all... I did. It was around Taylor Swift and I got upset.
Yeah.
He's about it. He knows his stuff.
He likes fantasy football a lot.
But frustratingly, always the guy to like...
He's always in these nail biters.
Always nail... But at the same time... You want a guy on waivers? You better wake up before Snorlax does. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. 5:30 a.m. Too late. So yeah.
Go ahead.
But yeah, so he's 4-3 now. His 4 wins are all a combined 10 points. That's how many close matchups he's had. So
he's the Minnesota Vikings of our league.
Yeah, he is.
No question.
Perfect.
He's the 2023 Minnesota Vikings of the Big Businesses League.
You know what else he is? He was 2 Brandon Aubrey field goals away from being 0-7. Basically, that's 10 points. That's 10 points right there.
Speaking of Brandon Aubrey, is he playing this week?
Yeah, he's doing his civic duty by being on jury duty or something like that.
I hope he doesn't play for the rest of the year.
So not only is he like on a jury, but like he didn't even want the team to exempt him because he wanted to do his civic duty. How weird is that?
You want to respect it as
so
a man.
It's like not only did you pay $110 for a guy on his bye week, but he's also a good person. So just let that marinate.
You want to respect him as a man, but you don't want him to play because Snorlax might win again.
Right.
Because combined 10 points over 4 wins is absolute peanuts.
It's not pretty.
But wins are wins, and that's all that counts in the end of the league. So
how about you? How'd you do last week?
I should have won last week.
You could have won last week.
I should have won last week.
Yeah.
No, because like it was there. Like it's not like I had theoretically the projections of points.
Like it was right there. Like it would be like it's right there. That's the end zone. But instead of just doing this, I'm gonna
on the last drive of the Arizona Cardinals, they had settled for a field goal, but they had every opportunity. James Conner
could have ran that
every opportunity to take it for a touchdown, and had he have done, I would have won.
Yeah. So him kind of electing to go down to run the clock out so they could kicked you in the teeth, my friend.
Kicked me in the teeth.
Yeah.
And I thought we had a connection.
My parents, Connor, or me and you have a connection.
My parents died of cancer. He had cancer. I figured he might have known. But
this one's for you, Scully.
He doesn't know.
Iceman to the moon. No, nothing, eh? He was just like,
maybe there's a fantasy week, which means that's nothing in the real world.
It's rare, but maybe he doesn't know about our podcast yet. Most do.
He knows about the podcast.
He might know about it, but if he doesn't, if he did, he would have ran it in. So
yeah, he would have ran. Anyways, that's the end of our big biz matchups. But it's some frustrating shit.
Yeah, there's a lot happening for the mid-season. So yeah,
mid-season's big thing. And do you know what? I'll be honest, it's been a hell of a season.
It's been great.
The league has been tight this year.
I link it directly to this podcast, though. I
you?
think I think because we started this pod.
Yeah.
And I mean, if anybody else has this much determination to make their league fun and interesting,
right,
then start a podcast. It won't be as good as this one, but start a podcast. Because you know what? The guys are more into it this year.
Yeah,
the chirps are better this year. It's been an awesome year so far.
There's no question that this has been a positive impact on the podcast.
Let's hope the second half of the year continues this momentum. But yeah, it looks good.
I really like it a lot.
So game
tape.
Yeah.
Last night's game.
It was a great game.
Kick it off, baby.
So Rams and Vikings. Rams at home, and they got Puka back, which I didn't know. Like, that was out of nowhere to me.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, so I knew Cup. Everyone was talking about Cup coming back, and a lot of people kept him in their IR spot.
Yeah.
Like somebody in our league, but he didn't even play him. Didn't get to enjoy that return, but the return was real. Like, right away, Puka and Cup made a difference. The whole offense looked like how they looked last year.
No question.
Stafford was slinging. Like, it was a great game. And all that talk, too, like Stafford might get traded, which was ridiculous. Cup might get traded, and I'm like, why would you trade these guys? They're finally back. They were 1-4. They went into the bye week.
The band's back together.
They were hurt. Whatever. Like,
it's gonna be frustrating because they're
after 5 weeks.
A lot more difficult now.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you play lines. You start getting.
They're in that conversation, and with the their division playing so bad, like Seattle, San Fran, and Arizona in that division. It's totally up for grabs.
Well, the thing is, they were technically at the bottom of the division before yesterday's game.
Yeah.
No, I think they're up to third.
Yeah, and they're right there. They're within a game of like.
They're within shooting distance,
so
no question. Especially,
yeah.
We don't know what's happening this week as well.
They still have their division matchups too, right? So
yeah,
if they win their division matchups,
San Fran's injuries
the division's wide open, basically. So
wide open. It's going to be interesting to see because, Seattle right now is an enigma.
You're right.
I
don't think they're 4-3. I don't think they're,
it depends on any game, truthfully.
San Fran's
Geno Smith is leading the league in passing yards.
Yeah,
but they're losing. They lost 3 out of 7. It's just a wild place. I thought their defense was going to be a lot better. It's just they got a new coach. There's a lot of stuff they're working out, right? There's a lot of stuff they're working out. Yeah. San Fran is an absolute shambles due to injuries mostly.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, someone might have called their regression. Who would have said that? I also said they're going to likely, I didn't want this to happen because nobody wants to see a human being get injured. But, they were very fortunate not to have like very severe injuries last year. And that's not common to happen year after year after year in the NFL. So I was like, they might get the injury bug this year. They did. And it sucks. It fucking
sucks. They got bug-a-spitting, that's for sure.
They got a lot of bugs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They got a lot of bugs.
Yeah.
And, Brock Purdy is Brock Purdy, but he needs to have everybody healthy to be, the person that, he is on paper.
Right.
Because he's not your game definer, but he's an excellent piece on a very good offense. Right? Past that,
so Arizona's kind of like whatever. So long story short, the division's up for grabs, right? So the Rams look great. Like all of a sudden, one game and everything's different. Season's not a lost season. So,
but had they have maybe one more call from the refs against that massive face mask, what do you think would happen?
Right, that was. I don't think Darnold was going down the entire field. Like it fully felt like the momentum was with the Rams, anyways. But that face mask in the end zone that gave him a safety, so it made it instead of an 8-point game, it was a 10-point game.
Massive change.
Minnesota would have been at the 20-yard line, and then who knows? But there was a minute left in the game, but whatever. But you don't know, right? Football's fucking nuts, so you never know, right?
Welcome to being a Lions fan, Minnesota.
But the Rams will take that. They'll put that in the bank, right? So. Right, yeah. So a lot of that Lions luck finally rubbed off on Minnesota this week. But the last guy I want to talk about out of the Rams, though, Kyren Williams is just a guy who just, like, everybody expects him to get it done. He gets it done, and no one ever talks about him. He's probably the most underrated running back in fantasy football.
I think so.
Yeah, and this is I didn't even realize this until last night's game. 10 games in a row with a touchdown. That's like if you're the owner of that team going into last season, obviously, but
I knew
if you're the owner of
9
of Kyron, like that's awesome, right? So.
He's been a solid workhorse.
Yeah,
you know, he was at Notre Dame coming out, and he knew he was like a good, strong, like heavy workload kind of guy. But what he's done with that offense, and especially with those two guys returning,
never expected it. I never drafted him. I stayed away from him last year.
I had him last year.
So everybody that picked him up last year was like, it was just a fantasy game changer. I was like that Cam Akers guy. I always thought it was like Akers was coming back. Akers is the man there and whatever. And then I'm like, why are they giving this Kyron Williams guy carries? Yeah. And look at, like, I fast forward a year and it's like he is a staple on that team now. So
it's funny because where he was going in fantasy, I actually had, like, you know, I was looking at other guys well ahead of him.
Right.
I clearly made that mistake because my running back core is bagoo. But seeing what
not beautiful, but
seeing what he's doing right now is really impressive.
Yeah.
And if you have him on your team, obviously there's no question at the beginning of the year, and even now, he's always been a must-start guy.
Yep.
But he's going to be a top 4 running back for the year probably.
Yeah, I think he falls in that category, right? Barkley, Henry,
him, and you know, maybe a Gibbs Monty. I don't know.
Yeah. I was like, who else is he gonna say? But he's right there. I think it's Barkley, Henry, right? Yeah. And then right after those,
I think
it's guys,
Henry, Barkley, Henry, then Barkley.
It might be Barkley, Henry.
No, actually, in every
it's totally
Henry
category,
Barkley,
but I think
let's not get crazy.
Barkley, Henry by the end of the year. So,
but he has been a solid. Like it's very hard to repeat like that first year of his real coming out party, which was last year. And, you know, that I was a little bit hesitant this year. I'm like, you know, he's kind of, what are the Rams going to be? Kupp, Nakua, you know, Kupp is a little bit injury prone, and he was last year. Like, he's been so good. And when those two guys are both healthy, those receivers are healthy, that guy is phenomenal because he just takes people away.
Yeah.
And he was averaging, what, 5.5, 6 yards almost last night?
Look what Stafford did. Stafford had 4 touchdowns. Like 2 to DeMarcus Robinson. Like everybody's better over there.
Everybody's better. Yeah, and it's been bad for Los Angeles. Unfortunately, Inglewood's been a quiet place for offense.
Yeah, but it's nice to see him back in the conversation.
No, it's not nice to see him back in the conversation.
No, it is. You know what? It's good for football. Sorry. And honestly, it's good.
Speaking
for football.
as a fan of the Lions, not a fan of football entirely. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, offense is great. Let's go see it. Fantasy wise, fantastic. But I don't have any of those guys in my leagues, so screw them all.
I stayed away from a lot of them too. So. Hit the news.
Game tape. Puka catches, score.
The news.
Lots of news this week.
Yeah. There was so much that happened.
It's been like a week and a half because we did it like midweek last year.
Yeah.
Lots going on.
So in a 9-day span, like guys getting traded off the woodworks. The most.
Give me the Hopkins back up.
Some injuries, some new faces and new places. So DeAndre Hopkins, it's so funny because every post game he gets like 2 catches for 13 yards. Or like, so DeAndre, how's everything in Tennessee? I love Tennessee. This is the happiest I've ever been in my whole career. Like he said all the right things.
He's doing he
just acted like it was the greatest situation ever. And then all of a sudden, he's traded. What a shocker, right? But so Hopkins going to the Chiefs is
perfect fit.
Oh my God, this is so good.
Perfect fit.
So good. So I expect big things. So I have a funny story about DeAndre Hopkins.
So let's hear D-Hop.
So Hopkins and the Chiefs, I like for their team. I think they're going to be like, I mean, they're undefeated anyways. So this is just the cherry on top, right? But
unfortunately,
I was looking at some stuff about Hopkins, right? And I know he's older and whatever. He's been around the league. He spent all that time in Houston and stuff. But so what I didn't know about him, and I'm sure this is how much knowledge is in this brain. I don't think anybody knows this, but did you know that when he was 5 months old, his mom got in a fight with the person that his dad was having an affair with? And do you know what that lady did to DeAndre Hopkins' mother? She threw bleach in her face, and she's now blind for life. So DeAndre Hopkins has a blind mother that every time he gets a touchdown, this is real too, eh? Every time he gets a touchdown, he hands the ball to his mother so that she knows that he was the one that scored the touchdown because she's blind.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
So the bad news is he's only gonna hand the football to her 2 to 3 more times in Kansas City because Patrick Mahomes only has 6 touchdowns on the entire year, and he fucking sucks.
You mean the MVP candidate?
The MVP of the league, yeah.
We'll get that
six TDs on the year, so sorry, Hopkins' mom. You don't get to see how atrocious
Hold on a second.
this guy's been playing.
She doesn't get to see it all.
That's mean, Tom. That's mean. Do you like that story?
That story is incredibly sad.
I know everyone's going to Google this, too, because they're like, that's not real. Joe just made that up, eh?
Is that real?
It's real. Oh, is it?
It's a terrible story.
It's so bad. Bleach in the eyes.
Terrible
right?
story.
How do you get in a fight with somebody?
Well, that's...
And then like, oh, I just got some bleach here. Like, I'm gonna win this fight now. Like, I don't. Where did that come from? But
that's.
It's from a reliable source on Wikipedia.
That's something.
So that's probably true. Crazy.
Now I just want him to do well, but I don't want him to do well because I'm goddamn Chiefs.
I just want him to score a touchdown and be like, you can't see me, right?
Let's get some updates on the Watson and Ayuk's.
Yeah, a lot of injuries, right?
Say Ayuk.
Ayukin.
One of the ugliest.
Oh, you can. Sorry.
Hutch's injury was pretty gruesome to see, but seeing that ankle flop in the one was pretty bad. But obviously we got Watson as well. What's going on with Watson?
So Watson's Achilles injury. So yeah, he dropped like a fucking bag of shit. Like honestly, he was already playing like a bag of shit, but then he just dropped.
It looked like he slipped on massage oil. Honestly,
he slipped on slipped on lube. So
he's gonna have a phenomenal time recovering on the massage table.
Yeah. So the kind of bad thing. And the kind of like funny thing was like as soon as he got injured, you could tell it was no contact.
Terrible.
He grabbed the back of his ankle right away.
Very bad
Achilles injury.
Probably done for his career here.
I think he was done for his career like after week 1, personally.
That's fair.
But
that's fair.
The fans were cheering.
I don't like
injuries. Like that's horrible. I know this guy. He should have been benched. So in theory, he should have never been hurt because he shouldn't have been playing, right?
No.
But the fact that he played. Went through that injury. That's the worst injury a guy can get. And then the fans started cheering. I'm like, that is so ruthless. I thought our league was ruthless. That's ruthless. Cleveland fans are ruthless.
Now, fans are going to fan. And they pay their money for the tickets, so they feel like they can do what they like. I hate this through and through.
Yeah.
I hate Sean Watson as a human being. Mostly because...
It was only like 25 broads. What's the problem?
Mostly because he has more... lawsuits settled out of court than he does touchdowns in Cleveland. True story.
That's true. That's a true stat.
Now, but man aside, you want to talk about human, like that's a very serious injury. His career is probably done.
I would think so. Honestly, I would think so.
You can not be you can kind of be maybe gleeful privately to yourself, but to like come together as a caucus of human beings and just go like like Ralph Wiggins. Like I just don't like it personally.
Yeah.
I think it's like you know when they say like you don't wish that upon your worst enemy, and that might be the worst enemy to a lot of Cleveland Browns fans because he's been that bad.
What a poor fan base. They just can't catch a break. It just no matter what they do all the right things on paper, and then it just never pans out.
Well, I don't think they do the right things on the paper. That.
I don't know.
You know what?
I don't know. Ironically, they get Chubb back, right? And Chubb gets his first touchdown, and what a story because of the injury that he came back from, right? Mm-hmm. Not many guys can do what he did, and to get back, and I like him. I like Chubb, but now he's there, and he's kind of in no man's land. Everybody in Cleveland's hurt. It's a lost season. They're already
and fantasy wise, what are you gonna do with Chubb?
Yeah,
you have no offense, so you can run it through a guy who was.
I don't even know. As the Chubb owner, I wouldn't even know what to do with him because
I got him in a couple leagues, and I'm hesitant.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, I'm hesitant, and that's simply because like they're not throwing to nobody with nobody.
They could get it done. I don't even think Winston's going to be the starter. It might still be that Dorial Robinson, blah, 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 blah.
I think they bring somebody else in, to be honest.
He's got like 19 hyphens to his name. Let's call him the hyphenator.
They can bring in Dobbins.
So, yeah. I don't know. So, it's game script, right? So, if you have Chubb, it's like you can't really do much with him because
but
they could be down 21-0 every week now. So,
well, no, they have a half decent defense. Unless they sell house, which is possible.
Yeah, very possible.
Which is possible. Unless they sell house and try to get draft picks and a lot of like currency that way, they're going to still have a good defense. So offensively, you're thinking that what they want to do in every situation is keep the other offense off the field.
Right.
Best way to do that, through the run game.
Yep.
Chubb is going to be the leader of the league. He's going to be the number 1 running back in the league for the rest of the year.
This just got weird.
Yeah, it's also not happening,
weird.
so
Yeah.
don't everything.
Don't listen to the Ace Man.
Yeah, no. So Ayuk's injury.
So
Terrible.
Ayuk, that sucks. He's been struggling, and so he was like a buy low candidate. You're just kind of waiting and waiting for him to do what he did last year, and now it's not coming. So he's out for the year.
What a story.
Man, San Fran is just everybody's dropping like flies, right? So maybe right now you can insert San Fran's new logo.
There it is.
Okay, that's their new logo.
Yeah.
So
That's not because
started with I'm not crying. I don't cry. I don't care.
okay.
I don't care, right? The CMC thing's devastating, but we'll talk about that later. Ayuk going down. There's guys that can step up. It's not a lost season yet for them by any means. Like that division, as we were talking about earlier, is still wide open. So they got Ricky Pearsall back. So Ricky Pearsall is now going to play. They've got a couple guys there. Debo is still there. Kittle has been freaking the greatest thing ever.
You know, Pearsall shed some weight too, eh?
He did.
Yeah, whatever was shot out of him.
Yeah. It's like about 2 pounds on the left breast, right?
No,
So,
but truthfully, like,
Yeah.
you know, between Juwan Jennings and him right now, like, those
yeah.
are those
So
are
I
your
mean,
leading
they've got guys that can
Kittle.
They've got guys that can step in.
Yeah.
I still think ultimately if CMC comes back, they could be fine, but it depends on him. So.
And it depends on the CMC you're getting.
So, but for Ayuk, like all the controversy in the offseason, he finally gets paid, and then this happens. It kind of sucks, right? So,
it really, really sucks.
but it doesn't suck as much as this next injury.
Yeah, it doesn't suck as much as what Chris Godwin happened.
Yeah.
You know, it's a fluke play. Well, not a fluke play. An unnecessary play of the game. They weren't winning the game.
There was 47 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, and just,
They were down by 10, so I mean, I guess well, obviously it's not lost. I've seen teams come back, right?
This might be the broken wet noodle I was talking about was actually his not good. Anyways, C. Godwin going down, having a career year.
Yeah.
Having a crazy year fantasy wise.
Sucks to see. We just literally on our last episode said him and Baker were the best stack in football.
Yeah.
You know, so it's probably his fault, not mine.
Yeah,
but,
so I think that Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown now are the best stack.
Why would you do that? Why would you say that? That's so mean. When we both know it's St. Brown. He just bought his jersey. He's going down this week. You know,
You shut your fucking mouth.
You shut your mouth. So the Godwin, like
Evans and Godwin.
ankle.
Yeah,
if you have a strong stomach and you watch the injury, it's
not one to see.
It's gruesome, man.
But like
He'd be really good at Dance Dance Revolution now, considering that his foot is facing the opposite direction.
Yeah.
But for football, I think it's going to take a while for him
good.
to recover. Contract year, he's a free agent now. So
And
probably his
I've
last
always
snap
been-
for the Bucks.
I've
always
always
been
high
a
on
fan
Godwin.
too.
I've always been high on Godwin. He's been a great player. He's got excellent, you know,
So he's not going to get
very
paid
low
like
drop weight.
he damn well should have after the
it's
season he's
frustrating.
putting together. But and
very
he'll probably be in a new situation next year.
Not if they're smart.
Yeah, they should keep him. They should
They should
absolutely
him.
keep him.
And you know,
but
I think they will keep him.
TBD.
I think they'll keep
him.
him. Tampa Bay's been good like that.
Yeah.
If they take care of the people that have been good to them, and like they took care of Baker. And now Baker was playing lights out, but also his now Evans as well as
Evans goes
hammy
down,
injury.
so
that was
he'll be back though. But
that was a tough looking hammy injury though. Like that,
you knew right away.
That
You
looked
knew
like
right away.
like he had that. He had that. Pass.
He was shaky a couple plays before that, and you're like, maybe he shouldn't be playing because you could tell he's nursing something, and then go figure. 10 minutes
10
later,
out of 10
it's like,
times though.
They said he couldn't take his shoe off. It was so painful. His hammy was so painful he could barely take his shoe off. So
It's like string cheese now.
yeah,
That's what's holding his hip and his knee together.
yeah. Well, I mean, he's getting older. He's 30 years old now.
He's a beast.
I remember being
He's
30.
a beast. I'm not a TBA fan, but like I almost
No,
not
it just
a hater of
sucks
TBA.
because they've been having a good year
and I
great for
love watching
fantasy.
him play. You know, they beat my guys
Absolutely.
this year, but
Yep.
I love watching them play. I'm not a hater of Tampa Bay. I love what they were doing out there. I think Baker's having I like seeing his storyline. His arc was great. I like what they do with their three-headed monster on. We have no idea who to play for fantasy for the running backs because none of it makes sense. But all of a sudden, one of them's good every week.
And then Rashad White out of nowhere.
And then
right?
Sean
ready to
P.
rate him off
Tucker or
and
whatever
then-
his name was.
Sean Tucker.
Oh no, sorry. I didn't mean to call you P. Diddy.
Sean Tucker looks like possessed. He got his first
He looks so good.
Yeah, his first carry was like 18 yards. I'm like, why is he so fast?
He looks
strong.
He looks upset that nobody took him before.
Yeah.
I love guys with the chip on the shoulder. He has.
I don't know why I know this. You want to know something about Sean Tucker?
Yes, I do want to know something about Sean Tucker.
So he had a heart condition that he didn't know about when they were going out.
Was it due to bleach?
No bleach, not bleach related, not Clorox related. So Sean Tucker was undrafted. And people wouldn't even look at him because there was some diagnosis, something that he had to get looked at with his heart. So long story short, he didn't even get to work out at the combine. Nobody took him. Tampa then takes him last year, and the offensive coordinator there loves this guy, says he's great. So he's like a coach favorite type person.
Yeah.
But he never got any exposure, never got anything. And then he comes in 2 weeks ago and just freaking molested the defense, eh? Like he went
just Michael Jackson the defense.
Yeah. He looked so good, and then so I think he's a guy that you can't play, but like you just kind of hope if Rashad White goes down, he's gonna launch into it. Bucky Irving still looks great.
Looks really good.
Yeah, so all three guys have looked great in spots. So
that's nuts.
I don't know, but yeah, but he looks good. He's got tons of burst.
Your insider info is second to none.
Yeah, that's good this week.
You are Adam Schefter.
I wasn't even planning that one. I'm reading about heart conditions, right? So yeah. Clorox and
I don't
Hertz.
want to know why.
That's a fantasy team name, Clorox and Hertz. All right? So yeah.
We'll get a shirt next week. Jameson Williams. So we got a 2-game suspension. What
did he do, man? What did he do? I want to know.
I want to know.
Resident Lions expert, can't find any.
I have been searching the depths of Twitter X, but most of what comes up is usually just like softcore pornography on Twitter X. So I'm trying to sift through it.
Nice.
I'm trying to sift through it.
Yeah, that's what comes up when I look at it too.
I don't know why my page is like that. But mostly I've genuinely been trying to find what he did, like what he was taking.
Yeah. So it's PED, it's performance enhancing.
PES, which is like UFO, UAP. Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
I have no idea. He didn't state what he took. If he, what it was. I'm very curious because he's not packing on muscle right now.
No.
So
could be Viagra. He could be packing something else, and then the test shows up something like too much roar in your lion. You know.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's unfortunate, but he's taking it like a champ.
2 games.
He's been playing well this year. He's been an excellent WR2 for the team.
Yep.
And it's going to be a loss to have him out because what a lot of people don't know about Jameson
Williams.
Williams.
It's only 2 games.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean. They're 5-1. It's okay.
And they're better games. Like I'd like to have him gone against Tennessee this week.
Yeah.
Rather than him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Later in the
like
game.
if you're gonna get suspended against the Titans. Like who gives a shit, right? Like
suspend
the whole team.
Don't
right?
take him lightly.
Everybody can go to Honolulu for a week, right? So.
But any defensive coordinator that sees the way he plays, he is a very unique player. He stretches the field, but he blocks really well for his size.
Yep.
And he clears people out.
Yeah.
So a lot of these plays, like these double crosses that we have,
so good. You're absolutely
huge. So having him not there is not just because he's really fast and catch a football, because he can.
Right.
But also his position in the scheme is very important. So we'll see what happens. But I'm sure it'll be
I think ultimately fine. They'll be all right.
They'll be okay.
Yeah, they'll survive the 2 games.
I think Ben Johnson's figured it out. Yeah, but still, last but not least, injury-wise, Tua Tagovailoa.
He's back, baby.
Allegedly.
Finally. Allegedly, but no, I think he's back. He's going to play this week.
And let's say I wish him well.
Yeah.
I do wish him well because I'm scared.
No one wants to watch football and see a guy go like this.
No.
On the field for the 4 minutes, right? So that was scary. It's been a month. He's back. Yeah. So we didn't know if he was ever going to be back, but he is back now. So he opts for the no Guardian helmet though.
Yeah.
That's weird, right?
Yeah.
Like you've got 78 concussions in 2 years. So it's 4 or 5 in 2 years, and they're basically talking about one more, and you're a coma victim, right? So, I don't know. He doesn't want to wear the Guardian helmet. He's wearing the same helmet that Patrick Mahomes has. It's by some company. Anyways, I didn't do any research on this either, but
how would you know this?
I just know, right? Joto World is deep diving this year, right? Like I'm so hungry for fucking championship. I'm looking up like what types of helmets they make, right? So
I think his new sponsorship is from Green Giant.
Frozen
vegetables.
Green Giant. Yeah. That was good. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so he's got,
also,
it starts with a V. It's some different company that makes these helmets. Patrick Mahomes is like the poster child of it. But basically, it's a soft shell helmet that's supposed to decrease the impact. The players are saying that this type of helmet is better than the Guardian caps.
So why didn't everybody just use that helmet?
But what I think is that the Guardian caps are so fucking ugly that nobody wants to use. They're so bad.
But also, why doesn't every offensive lineman wear a Guardian cap?
Yeah, well, everybody should be wearing. Like, if this is a thing, don't just give them the option.
You just
like,
block the view of your quarterback.
Yeah.
Everybody put your heads together. Nobody can fucking see shit.
So if anybody hasn't seen what they actually look like, I mean, they put a wrap around it, but it just looks like a big waffle on their fucking head. Eh? Like, it's so atrocious.
I'm not against guys trying to take care of their, like, money will always come, sure, but take care of your family and your health.
Devon Achane wore one last week.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, and he's a little guy, like, as it is, right? So he's wearing one
in the game.
Yeah, in the game.
As a running back.
Yeah, in the game. And so you're watching it.
Why did I see that?
Honestly, watch it. Like, pull up a Twitter or something. It's hilarious. Not right now, but like, but it's hilarious because you see him and he's a little guy as it is, but he just it looks like he has like this giant head. It reminded me of like NBA Jam. You remember? When put in, like the big head coat.
Can't fire.
Then he's on fire. Boom shakalaka. But so they have him on the screen and his head looks this big, everybody else is this big. So it's fucking hilarious. I think it looks ridiculous, but if it serves its purpose, then it's maybe don't end your career over it. So wear a Guardian cap.
Sure.
But
yeah, it's a long conversation right there. So let's just leave it there for right now.
so Iceman has some
Top Guns, baby.
Some Top Guns after 7 weeks. So these are like top guys.
Yeah, we kind of already said this one though, but let's get into Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
He is fantastic.
Looks so good.
Yeah. And it's frustrating because like I have CJ Stroud as a quarterback.
Right,
and big. And last week he got no points. And yet they're still almost winning that game.
Nobody did anything. I have
he had like 98 yards.
Yeah.
I have
Diggs didn't do anything.
And I texted you, I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Why are the Texans almost winning this game, but this guy has like 3 points? And you go, and your reply was just Joe Mixon.
Yeah. You look at it, and it's like Mixon was the entire offense, right?
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
So he's that good that they can just run an entire
Again, Silent Ninja, I'm sorry. No?
You know what? We gave him enough love, right?
Yeah, we get enough. See you later. You're done.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joe Mixon looks fantastic. Week 7 and week 8 and like foreseeable future. Maybe he's that number 5 guy for top 5.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yep.
You know,
Who's taking this spot? But on a weekly average scenario, the guy's killing it. So
he's gonna be a top 5. Barkley Henry continue to crash life. Speaking of number 2 and number 1 respectively, as in Barkley 2.
You decide who's 2 and who's 1.
Actually, stats will decide.
You know what though? I can't wait to see who ends up with the rushing title. It's going to be one of the 2 guys, but Henry looks fucking so good.
Could be Jordan Mason.
It won't be Jordan Mason.
CMC's coming back.
It's going to be Barkley or Henry. But in a weird way, and this is just me talking, I feel like they're motivating each other. Like I feel like Barkley goes home and he's like, how much did Henry have last night? Oh shit, you know? Okay, I got to get 227 yards tomorrow, right? So
which he has never gotten.
No, but he wants to get it.
No, he doesn't because you're completely wrong on this. Because there was video that surfaced this week where he could have had his highest rushing total ever.
Yeah.
Against the Giants. And what did he do?
I don't know. What did he do?
Did you not see this?
No.
Bullshit.
I swear to God, I don't know what you're talking about.
They said Saquon.
I'm researching Bleach, and I don't even know about my favorite running back on my favorite team. So,
his coach comes over to him and says, you're 13 yards away from your all-time highest rushing total. We're going to put you back out if you want to. If not, we'll get to the guys. No? He said, let the young boys eat.
I love that.
Sure.
I love that. But that's great. That's awesome.
I don't
team,
like that.
Yeah.
But it's counterintuitive exactly to what you're saying. So that's
whatever. Yeah. He's going to get it. He knows he's going to get it.
He ain't getting it. Drake London.
So 9 episodes. We haven't even talked about this man.
Underrated.
He is underrated. So Kyron Williams, underrated running back. Drake London, underrated wide receiver. Like
Drake London, underrated. Drake the musician, overrated.
Yeah, I hate Drake.
So it's completely inverse.
Yeah.
Yeah. London,
Yeah, hate Drake.
London the town, overrated. Drake, London the player, underrated.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, that's a nice tour right there.
100%.
So, he's the wide receiver 5 on the
Of the
year.
league.
Like,
It's
that blew my
dancing-
mind
yeah.
when I looked up some stats, but he's been like a model of consistency. So
It's
looked good.
the Kirk Cousins effect,
Yeah.
and they're just getting stronger and stronger because the first couple
Sure.
of weeks he wasn't phenomenal,
Yep.
and then he's just been consistent after that. He's
Yep.
just been like your 80 to 100 yard guy,
Yep.
touchdown.
And
Just
he
great.
never had that in his career, right? He was never able to have a quarterback get him the ball where he needs. And
Are you trying to tell me
highlight his strengths,
Desmond
so-
Ridder isn't Kirk Cousins?
Isn't that crazy, right? Yeah.
The blast.
So he finally got somebody who could get him the ball, and yeah, he looks fantastic. So
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Yep.
BT Jr.
Yeah, Brian Thomas. He's on fire. On fuego for Draft Wizards team, and for the Jags team, it's at least something for them to look forward to because they've had such a shit year.
Side note: Trevor Lawrence has better stats than Pat Mahomes.
Oh, I believe it. You want to hear somebody who has
By
better,
a lot.
like almost as good
by
as
a lot.
stats? Drake May, who's played 2 games for the New England Patriots, only has 1 less touchdown on the year than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into this again in a bit because
Yeah.
I'm already fired up. But
Crazy.
I want to get into it.
Yeah. What else we got?
We got Bowers,
So,
Kittle,
tight end.
then everyone else.
Yes, absolutely. So these 2 guys have taken over the tight end position in fantasy football.
If you have any opportunity to get Bowers on your team, especially if you're in a dynasty league, just give it up.
Yeah.
Just give it up. Take it and give it. Bowers is a stud.
I would like if I own Bowers in a dynasty league, there's nothing you can offer me. Because it's such a rarity to have a guy that good at that position, right?
Like, what if someone's saying, like, hey, I have Travis Kelce, but you're one.
No.
You'd be like,
Oh
what
yeah,
do you
well,
want
like
for him?
that's what he is though. He's Kelsey numbers for the next 10 years. You see it
Yeah.
already. They're not even established as an offense
He's
yet.
so
and
good.
He's so good.
Man, he's so
It's Minshew. It's Aiden O'Connell.
And he-
it's,
yeah,
they
he
just
has-
signed Ritter actually.
He has
and
wet paper
it
dolls
doesn't-
throwing him football.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
And he's
right?
putting up
Yeah.
TE1 numbers.
Absolutely
Day
agree.
after day.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal. Last but not least, Lamar Jackson. And
That Lamar Jackson. Sorry, I had to do it. So
I'm just going to throw my hat at the goddamn camera.
the gap between him and everyone else at quarterback for fantasy purposes so far has
Yeah.
just been insane again. And as much as you talk about Henry, as much as the Ravens look great and all this stuff, is he going to win MVP again? Because I hope he doesn't. But his numbers are there. The record's going to be there at the end of the year.
But
He's
talk
so
about
good.
what you have written here.
You like that stat? 23-1 against the NFC. Like, just dominating an entire half of the league. 23-1.
Now, if you think that means something, you're dumb.
I think it's cool. I think it's a cool stat, right?
Sure. Yeah. And, 9 out of 10 times, he comes out of a hot shower before he plays football. It's the dumbest thing in the world. I mean, it's fucking nothing. It's the dumbest stat.
I get what you mean.
It's the
because,
dumbest
like,
stat.
there's stats where you're like, somebody played somebody 20 years ago, so they've won 12 straight against them. But like, if
Exactly.
you go back to the first game, none of those players are even on the field nowadays, right? But
It means nothing.
I still think
Lamar's been phenomenal his
fucking
whole
cool.
career. He's been
Yeah.
really good. He's a world-class, elite, generational quarterback.
Yeah.
There's no question about this whatsoever. But stats like that is what kills me about these stupid people on
But I'll tell you this, like, if I've won 13 of 17 matchups against Draft Wizards, I'm going to talk about it on the pod, right? Like,
Yes.
what happened in 2015? Who was on your team? He's not on my team now, but I'm still going to say I won 13 of 17 matchups against Draft Wizards.
I rest my case.
Okay. Moving on.
Ah, shit.
The bad, the ugly, when you want to start again.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. Standard on the Big Misses podcast.
It's expected,
It's expected
every week,
at least
right?
once.
Yes.
At least once.
Yeah.
But now we're on to the good, the bad, and the
Oogly. Yeah.
oogly.
Oogly.
Yeah, and we have some good stuff this week for that. So
Yep.
I got to kick it off, and I'm a bit impassioned about it, and maybe because I'm a fan about it, but
Yeah, no, it's cool.
it
It's awesome.
is finally undeniable, undeniable that Jared Goff is an MVP candidate of this league. That's a cat. You just can't deny it.
not-
Let's
yeah.
run through some statistics. Statistics.
Wow, that's very.
Since week 4, 84.5%, actually 84.8% completion. Completion.
That's crazy. I mean, he had that perfect game, which was like that in itself.
Sure.
I couldn't believe that, but
Since then, still phenomenal. 7 touchdowns, no interceptions.
I know.
154 passer rating.
Yeah, I
not
know.
QB rating. 0.61 EPA per dropback.
He's statistically almost been perfect.
Against the rush, which everybody says he's terrible, he's been the league's leader.
I know.
Long passes,
I hate this thing.
league leader.
Yeah.
Since
No,
week
it's
4.
great. Yeah.
Best stat of all of them. The best stat of all of them.
He's getting fired up.
They've had more touchdowns on the offense than they've had incompletions since week 4. There's
Yeah.
more touchdowns to incompletions.
That's real, actually.
Since week 4. 100% real.
He's had more touchdowns.
Not
than
he's had more. The offense has had more touchdowns
than
than
incomplete.
incompletions.
Wow, that is actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
That's
I
unheard
was
of.
just trying to troll him for the whole segment, but that last stat kind of got me. Kinda was like, whoa.
Unheard of.
Wow, that's
And
like, wow. I mean, like, yeah, they look amazing. So yeah,
through all of that, fantasy-wise, mid-20s numbers each week for the last few
Right.
weeks.
Yeah.
He's had 2 weeks.
still under Jalen Hurts a little bit, but
No,
yeah,
actually, he's
no, I
not.
get-
Last 3 weeks or the last 3 games
Yeah,
for each of
well,
them combined.
yeah.
No. You want our little?
I was
side,
talking season,
our little
I was
side,
talking
a little
season, but
side
yeah.
bet here.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little side bet? You want to talk a little side bet?
He's too
Okay.
excited.
No,
I
I'm too
can't.
excited.
I can't.
Because the first 2 weeks aside, in which the Lions came up pretty flat,
Right.
100% they did.
Yep.
You guys came up pretty strong. Philly
Yeah,
being his guys.
I know what he's saying. It's leveled off. We're gonna
It's
end up
not-
getting in a fight, and then someone's gonna throw bleach in
It's
somebody's
somebody's
eyes.
and then their kid's gonna score touchdowns.
This is a Clorox fight right now.
But the last since week 4, including week 4, Goff in standard formats has about 6 more points than Jalen Hurts.
Okay, I can live with that.
Actually, no, sorry, 12 more points.
Well, I could still live with that because by the end of the year,
Yeah.
the bet stands.
True.
But without question, my
Goff's
hat off.
better.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
Goff is better.
No, he has been
Oh,
on a
there
huge
we go.
tear. He's an MVP candidate. Everything you said
He
is
is.
true. So that's
He is.
good. It's good. It's good.
He's been an incredible leader for that team. He's been what MVP really stands for. And what really pisses me off, look, Lamar is an MVP candidate. No question. There's other people that are MVP candidates. No question.
Yeah.
You know who's not an MVP candidate? Patrick Mahomes. And I'm tired of the conversation. This guy is terrible this year.
Yeah.
I'm sorry he's not playing well. Just get over it. He's garbage.
Oh.
The reason why
He's
they're
not very
6-0
good.
is not because of the offense. It's because of the defense. And we need to get over KC. They're fugazi.
They just don't lose.
They're terrible.
Yeah,
They're like
but-
Snorlax. Their combined wins are basically due to referee flags.
I like that. Yeah.
Over the 10 points that he has combined over his 4 wins.
They're the Snorlax of the NFL.
Yes, they're the
I love
Snorlax
that.
of the NFL.
That's good.
That's the reality.
Okay.
And I'm sorry I'm fired up about it. That's it. Jared Goff's MVP.
So
At
he's
least-
already
at least
jacked about this, and now he's going to be jacked about the next thing.
At
that we're
least in
talking about, too.
consideration for MVP. We'll say that. Consideration.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I agreed. Like, I'm not like this, just like jerk. That's not.
Yes.
No, I'm not. Stop it. Okay, the next one. So he's already like, he's amped up.
I don't even know if this
Let's
is recording
fucking-
right now. Is this recording? I genuinely don't know.
It better be.
We're good. We're good. We're recording. All right, first time in
Now you have to.
league history.
You have to.
No, I'm not editing that. That's staying in. That's staying in. Let's go next. All right. we got the
So
the
if
Steelers.
he's not amped up enough, here we go again.
Steelers.
Another thing that he's gonna be like, "I told you so" or whatever, right? So you can talk. I'm just gonna.
I won't say it.
I'm just gonna have a snack. Actually.
He's got to eat his words, folks. So a few weeks ago, we were always discussing how. That's not loud at all. By the way, you better save me some of your words.
Is it louder than chewing ice?
Can I have some of your words? Delicious.
Yeah.
Not right now, but
Yeah.
yes, I do.
Eating my words on this one. Go ahead.
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, if you're a friend of the pod, you would have seen that I have said multiple times that even despite having, Fields playing as well as he has been playing, which he's been playing well, as soon as Wilson
he was playing great.
As soon as Wilson was ready, they were going to start him. Mm-hmm. I knew that. I knew that was going to happen. And you didn't believe me, did you?
I absolutely did not think that Russell Wilson would see the field this year with how Justin Fields was playing.
And who was right on that one?
So, hold on, I'm just digesting the words that eating my words. So, yeah, you were right. I'll give it to you. I still don't agree with the decision, but
I never agreed.
Russ comes in and he looked great. So
I never agreed with that decision.
But the entire game, the announcers were saying, and it made sense. It's Tomlin is that good of a coach, and he thought he was capped at what he could do with Fields. So why not try this out with Russell Wilson?
I think
he liked what he saw in training camp and everything else. And he thought that they could be like a very, very strong playoff contender, win a Super Bowl. Can you win a Super Bowl with Fields? He's probably thinking no with Russell Wilson. But where I am going to hate Russell Wilson for the rest of the year, because I am so just bitter about this, right?
What's that?
He's throwing these moon balls. They're calling them moon balls. So that's going to be the new thing, right? Pickens comes up with like the greatest catch, right? Which bumps up Wilson's stats like 40, 50 yards. Yeah. And then Freiermuth, I call him Frankenmuth, catches this other moon ball, and that was another like 20 or 30 yards.
They give it to Russell. They're like, oh, that throw was amazing.
And it was your boy, eh? That Lamar Jackson. He's like, Russell Wilson. He's just throwing those moon. Oh, those dang moon balls can't be caught by anybody else. He just knows where to put them. Like, I don't think he knew where to put them. I think he just threw a bad pass. And two amazing plays were made. Because, like, minus the two moon balls, guy threw for, like, 160 then.
Yeah, no. Like,
so it wasn't anything different than what Fields was doing. He looked like crap in the first half. He underthrew guys. So I was hating on Wilson, and then they turned it up. But the team looks so good through and through. Their defense, everybody else.
Yeah.
I do think it's a good bump up for Pickens. For fantasy. I think you said that last week.
I did say that, yeah.
I agree. So, yeah, fully. Eat my words. Eat my words on this one. But,
it's... Well, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a guy who's almost a pure passer. Like, he could rush a lot when he was younger, but he's a little bit older now. He's got terrible hair.
So bad, eh?
Yeah.
Just pull a Joto World and just shave it, baby. Like, yeah.
This looks so good.
You won't regret it.
This looks so good. Just do it.
Is that the screen of our episode? Is that the screen cap of our episode? That's pretty good.
But he always trusts his passers. I let passers love him. Throw it up there, let him make a play. He has George Pickens. He can make a play.
Yep.
Freiermuth is a big tight end. He can do his thing. And that's why I always thought, you know what? You have Najee Harris. You got Jalen Warren back there. Jalen Warren's a good scat back, faster guy. Najee Harris, big hammer.
Whoa, big hammer, eh? Oh, fucking Thor on the field.
Let him do his thing.
Yeah.
I don't think Fields is a bad quarterback. He's just a weird fit there.
But at the very least, at least they know if Russell Wilson struggles or gets injured, they got a Fields.
And that's always going to put pressure on Russ, too, to make sure he's super sharp because replaceable.
Absolutely.
Replaceable.
Yep.
Replaceable.
We're singing. We're singing again.
Right. Free agent running back.
The last one, yeah. So there's two guys that are just... Yeah. They're getting 20 carries a week.
Carson Steele.
No, not Steelix. Tank Bigsby and Kareem Hunt have been phenomenal the last couple of weeks. I don't think it's changing. So if you're one of the guys who signed one or both,
congratulations.
Congratulations. It's good and it's something legitimate. I know they're talking about Pacheco coming back. I love Hunt. I was on Hunt before Hunt even knew that he was Kareem Hunt. So he's the Kareem of the crop.
If you're hunting for a running back.
Yeah. I get it. Thank you. It's great.
Tank Bigsby is a bit of an anomaly.
So I didn't expect it. We after I think the first episode, like after week one, we were like, "Oh, ETN could be in a split." It looked more like a split, but now it's like the pendulum is fully swung over to Tank Bigsby.
Yeah,
it looked great against. I know it was New England. I knew it was a London game. Whatever. He's fully the centerpiece.
The soft defense.
The soft defense for sure. So Bigsby and Hunt are going to be good going forward.
Yeah.
I don't think this is just like a couple weeks span thing. I think they're going to stay consistent. I think they're going to get their work, 15 to 20 touches a game. So, yeah.
I don't disagree. Yeah, that's exactly it. Now let's go on to the bad.
The bad.
The
real bad.
A. Richardson.
A Rich?
So Anthony Richardson's return was pot-marked by inability. We'll call it.
Yeah.
It's been like his first season was, all this explosive potential talent, arm talent, leg talent, everything. I don't know where his running's been gone, but it's gone.
Well, and even at this point, you expect more. You expect
the growth.
Consistent.
You expect growth.
Yeah. 10 for 24. I could be wrong, but I think he only had 10 complete passes, right? It didn't look pretty.
I'd be giving Flacco this rock.
Everybody, like he can't support a fantasy offense, right? So anybody on the Colts takes an instant backseat with Flacco on the bench, right?
I think A. Richardson is droppable.
He is. So,
and the reason why I say that though is I think he's going to be benched.
I hope, and honestly, not enough teams actually do this, right? Yeah. You might see the motion to like the Flaccos and the Andy Daltons and like the veteran QBs at times, but they don't stick with them, right? And even if sticking with them means in the short run they're going to be a better team, they're always thinking long term. So the Colts are thinking long term with him. I'd love to see Flacco just absolutely shred it because we can see that like. Joe Cool in the fourth.
Yeah.
Like he's poised. He's a great quarterback. And for fantasy purposes, he supports all these guys way better, right?
Why I think this is going to happen is he can learn a lot more from seeing Flacco play.
Sure.
This year,
he absolutely
could like from anybody else right now.
Yep.
And I think he needs that season of growth.
Yeah.
He's just not.
I would truly hope that they do that, but I don't think so. I think if he's healthy, he's playing, he's their future. They got to see what they've got out of him. But
I don't think. Again,
that's the thing.
But most of the time when that happens, it's typically with a draw type of name, like somebody who's like a really big high draft pick.
Right.
And that's when they kind of just force him in there and say, "See you later."
Of course,
it goes well.
Well, because I don't
think Richardson's that in Indiana.
Everybody's looking for that rushing dynamic. That's that next Lamar Jackson.
Rushing? I'm joking.
But the way that he runs the ball, the way that he moves the offense,
the way that he used to run the ball,
everybody's just thinking, okay, I've got a potential Lamar Jackson here, right?
Yeah, he's not.
Lamar Jackson was really rough around the edges when he went there. He played behind, coincidentally, he played behind Flacco, right?
Flacco.
But Lamar Jackson is just way different, right? So until you really test these guys out and know, like you don't know if you've got the next Lamar Jackson or not, right? But from what I've seen, he is on the bad list. He's staying on the bad list, especially for fantasy purposes.
He could be. Yeah.
He's making everybody worse. His numbers were atrocious. The team looked like very, very sloppy, right?
I'm fantasy purposes. If he is starting, I am not starting anybody in wide receiver position.
No. So if you had like a Pittman and you enjoyed like the 3 week span that Pittman was much better,
as soon as Flacco
throw him
comes
back on your bench. Yeah.
Downs and Pittman are starters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in PPR formats.
Yeah.
Especially in PPR formats.
Here you go. You've been waiting for this one.
Patrick Mahomes is
the undefeated Patrick Mahomes. But go ahead.
Dare we say droppable.
Yeah. In fantasy football.
Yeah. Although we have a new Hopkins. We discussed this before we really discussed Newton. Mm-hmm. And we don't know what's going to happen when DeAndre comes into play. But we're going to assume that, let's say, he picks up his numbers. That's fair to say. With
5 to 6 catches minimum a game, right?
With a quality player like that, you're going to assume, barring injury, that he does well.
Yep.
Before this, 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions?
Yeah. Something
like 1,300 yards?
6 touchdowns in 7 games is crazy for a guy that gets compared weekly
to MVPs.
Tom Brady and MVP.
Chris Collinsworth just straight
and the GOAT top
glazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just
he's laying it
can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I can't take it because like there's no question he's a very good quarterback. There's no question he's a very good quarterback.
I talked to Patrick Mahomes' trainer and he said that the dad bod is actually good for fantasy football purposes.
And on top of this, remember when he got that rushing touchdown and he hit that defender? Mm-hmm. And it was like, "Whoa, look at that! He hit the defender."
It's because of that helmet, right? But yeah,
every defender is terrified of touching Mahomes.
Yep.
That's why he can tiptoe walk across this freaking sideline all the time.
I mean, he did truck the guy. It looked kind of cool, but that was...
He trucked the guy, but the guy's like, you're already in the end zone.
Yeah.
So he's going to lay up because he's worried about some sort of additional penalty.
But that was one of like maybe 4 good plays in the entire game.
I don't care. I want to talk about that play.
Okay.
I want to talk about that play because it's getting so much airtime about, look at what Mahomes did. And this is why I want to talk about it, is there is no question that if it was a tackle drill or anything where it was like, hey, have at it, Mahomes would have been tossed around like a salad.
And so the guy almost let up a little bit. And
Not let up a little bit.
Yeah.
He let up completely.
Yeah.
He let up, and you can see it. He gives up. And sure, like you just take a hit, you roll. You do not want to get the extra, tacked 15 penalty plus some sportsmanlike plus whatever. You don't want it. You see guys already doing that with him on the sidelines. He takes these ticky-tacks like he's going to run out, and then he sneaks back in and gets an extra 10 yards. Mm-hmm. Happens all the time. Nobody wants to touch quarterback. If this was 5 years ago, he would have been torched at that goal line.
Sure.
You don't think any defensive player who's going to line up a quarterback wants to just decimate that guy? Long story short,
I want to decimate him.
I'm just like, I'm tired of this like, oh, look at how great he is. We know he's good. He's got 2 back-to-back Super Bowls. He's a good quarterback. Maybe one of the best.
He's a great, yeah, exactly. He's not just a good quarterback. We got to
stop with the additional just
but
gratitude.
The formula that's been created is breaking football. And I think that's what needs to be said, right?
It's different footballs. I'm not sure if it's breaking. It's just changing.
You don't have to throw touchdowns. You don't have to throw 200 yards. And you're winning football games. And you're winning football games on the road. And you're winning football games handedly. But
it's not the offense.
Defies. I know, but it just...
Pick a defensive player if that's the case.
But yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't disagree. Or absolutely, the last 2 games, Kareem Hunt, right? Or whatever the case may be. They're just winning, though, right?
I don't care.
And when it comes down to it, in the AFC, it's going to be them, Houston, Baltimore. Like, those are your top-tier teams. They're the favorites to win it again. And they're going to be there. They're going to be in, like, the 2 last games of the season.
If they had this team, this exact team going into the first week of playoffs, they're losing the first week.
Well, I hope so, to be honest. The way that they look, the way that they play.
Yeah.
As a fantasy football fan, as a fan of the NFL in general, and watching a good game, they throw these guys in prime time. You're expecting like it's a big hyped up game, and you go to watch it, and it's boring football.
It's not good at all.
No highlight reels. But it's efficient, and they're winning, and that's going to always be the
efficient.
Argument. But his stats are shit. His the way he looks is shit. Everything is shit.
They're so bad.
The end result is Andy Reid got an undefeated team on his hands again.
Andy Reid's phenomenal.
And they're looking to continue the success.
They're so bad they have to cut to Taylor Swift 10 more times per game.
I'm almost like that's almost like the best part of the game now. I don't even like Tay-Tay. But it's like, oh, good. Something other than Mahomes just boring everybody. So
6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
Drake May has
yards.
5.
Do you know who has a better stat line than that? It's Trevor Lawrence.
Everybody in the league. Trevor Lawrence, yeah.
It's terrible.
On the 2-win Jacksonville Jaguars team.
In the last 4 games, what did we say? What did we say about Goff? In the last 4 games total, so 3 games technically, because he had a bye week in one of those 4 games. In the last 3 games, 7 touchdowns.
Yep.
No interceptions.
Yep.
85% completion rate.
On the entire year.
154 passer rating.
Sure. Yeah.
And he's not even mentioned next to him. Well, he is now. I will say Goff's been getting a lot of love from the media.
Yeah.
Justifiably.
I think this is finally the week where they started talking about him.
Yeah.
And what we're saying about Mahomes isn't anything different than what the narrative actually is being spun now.
Yeah.
If you look at any other podcasts, but if you look at any other podcasts, they're probably saying the same thing. Right. Mahomes is way overrated. But they're winning as a team, right? But his stats are laughable compared to other people. If it was any other name, if his name was Trevor Lawrence and you looked at his stats, you would drop him.
100% you would.
Right? In fantasy football, you would drop him.
His name only.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go down to the ugly now that wasn't ugly enough.
Right.
Tyreek Hill. Now, I wrote this down last week saying, until the QB shows up, is he on your bench? And he is.
QB is here.
There's
to save the
day. No question in the
without a guardian cap. He is here to save the day.
that if he had no quarterback coming back, you'd be keeping on your bench. And it's hard to say that because I have him in the league and I've started him every single time.
Hill since week 1 has been so bad. Literally invisible to fantasy football. You're starting 8 guys a week instead of 9, basically.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I gotta understand.
What a difference,
Like,
though,
how can
eh?
you say, like, hey, whoever you are, just throw it far?
Yeah. Just absolutely nothing, right? So,
I don't know what Tua brings so differently than these other guys.
because he's not like an above average quarterback. Like I think he's a guy who's got a good arm, and
But you know what? He's accurate, and I wish him well.
yeah,
I wish him well. I want
me
him to
too.
be super healthy.
Sure.
But man,
But yeah, Hill up
Tyreek
until
Hill has
this
been
point,
ugly.
yeah, up until this point, super ugly.
And we're gonna find out what happens this weekend because it could be to the moon, Alice. Is that what it is?
As long as there's no moon balls, but just throw him the rock.
It could
and
be
he'll
phenomenal.
catch it,
Like
so.
if you like.
I think he turns it around going forward with all this said, but yeah, up until this point, he's definitely on the ugly list.
Super ugly.
So yeah.
Well,
Speaking of ugly people, you're gonna love the last ugly person, right? This is like you love this. He's been trolling Snorlax all year. Ugly. Who's ugly? Not Snorlax. Snorlax, you're not an ugly guy. You're a very handsome man. But this person not being on the field until this point is ugly. So.
And it's been ugly because he's not gonna be here till week 14. CMC.
Like, can you get back to work, bro? Like,
so Christian McCaffrey he was basically number 1 pick by everybody. So he was like a completely across the board number 1 pick. Everybody was happy about him. Comes out, as everybody knows, doesn't play at all. Wild.
This is crazy.
And it's getting super weird because like there's no like San Fran's been really like Belichick-y about their information.
Yeah, for sure.
They've been really like, you got this.
Well, even in week 1, it was a Monday nighter, and it was like a last minute thing. You didn't hear the CMC news.
Yeah.
And at week 1, when you're like last minute, he's not going to play. And now we're like fast forward 2 months, and he's still not playing. It's like they knew they had a problem on their hands.
Oh
right?
my god, yeah. Yeah, they knew 100%.
But when the fuck is he coming back to work though? Is what I want to know. Like Ricky Pearsall got shot, bro. Like he got shot in week 1
in the chest,
and he played last week.
Yeah.
So the man has a gunshot wound and got on the field before CMC.
He did.
So what is happening?
I think we're gonna get GTA 6 before we get CMC.
I actually, side note, can't wait for GTA 6.
Never played him.
Fucking, oh my god, what a game.
I just know that's what the kids are saying these days.
Yeah, yeah. The kids. Like, I'm not a 40-year-old man that plays video games, but if I did, I'd play GTA 6. Coming out next June, I think.
Really?
At the same time that CMC's probably gonna hit the field. Fuck, man, get to work, bro. Like,
I think he's got at least 2 more weeks before he comes back, at minimum.
Their bye weeks come in, and hopefully after the bye week. But we don't know.
If they're still sitting where they are in the standings, they're not last. Like if they're second, third.
And thank goodness that Mason's been as good as he's been.
Been a revelation.
Yep, but
been a revelation.
Get to work, bro. Get to work.
This has been a long fucking podcast. Let's go on to the final thoughts.
Okay, final thoughts. You hit them with your last final thought.
Friends,
I like this one.
Let's talk about Daniel Jones. So today's final thoughts are brought by MetLife Stadium, who's seen 16 hockey players score goals in MetLife Stadium since the last time they saw Daniel Jones throw a touchdown pass. We have a very serious problem in New York, friends, and that problem is named Daniel Jones.
That's crazy.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I just
cross-reference sports. That like when you're that bad that you have to compare to another sport.
It's been 22 months now since he saw a touchdown pass at home.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable for a $160 million contract. And when you have a guy like Malik Neighbors, who I'm sure everybody have to start him. You have to start Malik Neighbors. You have to. Without question, you're starting Malik Neighbors if you haven't.
But I will say, as an Eagles fan, as a diehard Eagles fan, keep up the good work. We like what you're doing, and we appreciate it. MetLife Stadium might not appreciate it, but the Philadelphia Eagles love what you're doing.
Is this what you calibrate a touchdown dependent person as being?
For
fantasy purposes?
Oh yeah.
It's been
and
terrible.
then some. So yeah.
So final thoughts.